welcome to Family Business World. I'm your host, Dr. Dale Caldwell. We have another wonderful show in store for you. I want to welcome Harold Heritage. Harold, how are you?
I'm well, Dr. Caldwell.
It's an honor to have you on our show today. Harold is the president of Heritage's Dairy Stores, Inc., and we're going to learn a lot about them. And so Harold, I always like to start out with, well, tell me a little bit about your background. Where'd you grow up and so on, and then I want to hear about the history of the family business.
Sure. So I grew up here in southern New Jersey in a little town called Clarksboro. We're right off the 295 corridor across the river from Philadelphia. Went to the local schools there, Kingsway Regional High School, which is right off of 322.
Nice.
And then after high school, I went to Rutgers in Camden for my undergraduate degree, and I graduated from their business school with a, I guess it's a Bachelor of Science in Business Management. So I had a good experience there. And after college, I held several different jobs. I worked down at the Millville, down in Millville, Silverton Marina. They built boats with my uncle for a summer, which was really enlightening.
Oh, nice,
I thoroughly enjoyed that job. I worked at the local YMCA in Woodbury for several years. This is all concurrent with my college education, by the way.
Right, okay.
And then while I was in college, I started working in our dairy stores here in Gloucester County.
Oh, nice. And so did you when you were a kid, when you were young, did you start sweeping the floors? Did you kind of clean things up, or?
Yeah, actually, I remember being in Little League, right? I played youth sports were huge for my upbringing, and I just thoroughly remember them and enjoyed them. And I'd asked my dad, I wanted a TPX baseball bat, and so he said, "Son, have your mother drop you off at the office here in West Effort, and we'll get you that baseball bat." Well, he had given me a job in our service department picking weeds and sweeping up. And,
I love it.
By the end of the summer, I was able to get my baseball bat.
So let's talk about the business model. I mean, this is really an amazing business that you have. Obviously, are your competitors the Wawas and the Quick Checks? Are they competitors, or are they in a different category?
So I would say yes, they are main competitors. We are definitely in the convenience store business in our model. But what's been interesting is over time, Wawa looked a lot like we did going back 10, 15, 20 years. But they chose to go in a direction of the quick service restaurant with the gas offering. And over time, they chose a path and morphed into who they are today. And they're highly successful up and down the East Coast. But what it did for us was provide a differentiation by default that Heritage's could continue to be who we are, primarily in the full service deli realm, community store. And I think that has worked to our benefit. So while competitors, it's played to our advantage. I think we compete with multiple business segments, in any given area that we operate in, whether it's your local grocery store or it's your corner CVS, as the product offerings are the same. You go into a CVS, they have a wide variety of groceries. They put coolers in there. Your grocery stores, they also have full service deli counters. So I think we're able to grab a little bit of business from all different places.
Well, I mean, as I sit here as an outsider, and I consult to a lot of businesses. I'm saying you've got a great name. Heritage is like a wonder. I mean, you couldn't have a better name. And I'm almost evangelical about entrepreneurship being the answer to so many of the world's problems, from poverty to even climate change to other things. And so when I see these family businesses like yours that are successful at doing what they're doing, you want to maintain that local flavor. But Heritage, what a great name. Are you looking to expand? I live in New Brunswick, and I want one of your stores in my area. So
I do. So, interestingly enough, we also self-distribute a lot of our products. We have a second company called Heritage's Wholesale, which is right around the corner from our corporate office.
Okay.
So we kind of stay local, and I am looking to expand to answer your question more directly. I do believe the opportunity down here in South Jersey is full. That while you see tons of Wawas, you see tons of other competitive businesses, I still think our general service area has a lot more opportunity for us as it continues to grow up and down both the 295 and the 55 corridor here in South Jersey.
So let's talk about Central Jersey. I'd love to help you, expand up to Central Jersey. I'm serious about that. And one of the challenges is, and I talk, and when I teach, and we talk a lot about big, really big is bad. And what happens is there's a certain size that companies become. When I was at Princeton, actually, Jeff Bezos was at Princeton, and Amazon has just become the behemoth. But when they get big, they lose that customer focus. And so I know, as I'm hearing you talk, you're looking at how do I grow while maintaining that local neighborhood flavor. Is that kind of what you're thinking about?
Yeah, it is. Like, we would never want to change our identity. It's funny because I don't think of us as a large company. I think of us as a small company, even though we employ close to 500 people. Mm-hmm. But the way we are set up with the district supervisor operationally, we have firm control of what goes on out in our stores and implement standards, procedures. And, I think there's a lot of room for growth before we would even have to worry about such a problem.
And so now you said you have about 500 employees, and how many of, we were talking earlier about your family members. What roles are different family members playing in the business?
Yeah, so my sister Kate, she's our marketing director. Mm-hmm. My brother Sam is a district supervisor where he's responsible for 9 stores or so. My brother Matt is a store manager, and everybody's worked their way through the business. Everybody's worked as a team member. We call a team member. They're a clerk position, an entry-level job out in the stores, and go through management and then on through. So that's everybody's done the work.
And so now, how do you maintain? Because I talk to a lot of businesses where there's family conflict, and some have been able to escape that family conflict. How is that going with your business, and how do you make sure everybody gets along?
I think it's about just cultivating your relationships with your family members and just knowing where the other person comes from, and just identifying what their needs are, what their desires, their aspirations, and then being truthful about those as well. I think whether it's just a non-family member looking for opportunity or a family member looking for opportunity, I know that we have opportunity here in our company, and I just think that being honest about their current performance, what skills they need to develop, and what the real outlook is, and I guess setting expectations. Mm-hmm. Is very important for keeping the family members healthy, whole, and together.
Well, and that's wonderful. And so what keeps you up at night? What are some of the biggest challenges that you have as the president of this really successful family business?
Of late, the labor market has been extremely difficult. It really started back in March, and business has been good, but I would say we have 140 entry-level job openings that we would love to fill, and we haven't been able to provide the service that we desire to serve our guests with. So that the hiring piece has definitely been on the top of my mind, and it's been very stressful operationally to staff our stores to the levels that would be adequate for what our standards are. So that's my primary thing that keeps me up at night. I really have been worried about the vaccine mandate on employers with over 100 people. Mm-hmm. I've been following it closely. I haven't heard any word from OSHA and what the rules will look like. But I look at our labor shortage as is now, and it worries me to the utmost extent. Mm-hmm. that implementing such a policy would be very harmful
right.
To our family business.
Yeah, we're going to take a break right now, and when we come back, I want to talk about the worker shortage, because that's really plaguing a lot of businesses around the country. So we'll be back right after a couple commercials.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back to Family Business World. I'm your host, Dr. Dale Caldwell, and we're going to continue our conversation with Harold Heritage, the president of Heritage's dairy stores, and really just a fascinating conversation. We were talking about the worker shortage, and virtually in every industry, they're struggling finding work. And we were saying that the extra unemployment had expired, and maybe some people are still doing that. But I imagine there's going to be a massive job look coming up soon. Do you think that's going to happen, Harold? After November or December?
I have to remain optimistic. I have to think that people will come out and look for the jobs that are indeed available.
Well, I as I mentioned earlier, I have a foundation, the Dale Caldwell Foundation. It's really focused on reducing poverty by getting people gainfully employed, and we kind of do trauma-informed job training to make sure there's a work ethic. We should really talk about that, because there are people that want a job, and so this is a great opportunity for people who have not had a chance to get a job. And I don't know that there are enough programs really looking at trying to help people find those jobs, because it's amazing how many jobs there are now. It really is. So as you look at your store workers and 500 employees, what do you see in the future? What are going to be some of your future needs? And are you looking to go into any new areas, new industries?
I think we have a lot of opportunity to sell prepared foods, and I think what our business looks like today might not look like what it will look like tomorrow. So I definitely entertain new ideas in terms of we own 30 brick and mortar stores, and we could basically sell whatever we want out of them. I mean, we have our identity in what we sell now, but I think the opportunity moving forward will be endless. I do look at our current work pool and say, all right, what skills and knowledge do we need to give them to take us to where we want to be in the future?
Well, one of the things a classmate of mine was talking about branding, and really was saying that the successful brands don't focus on the brand as much as they focus on their agenda or their mission. That their mission really drives the brand. And so what would you say your mission, or is there a mission statement that you have for Heritage's? What is your mission?
So I'll start with our vision. Our vision is that Heritage's will be known as a leader in excellent guest service, by exceeding their expectations. And I think that all, to your point, that all starts with what our values are here at Heritage's. And my grandpop, our number one value is that people are the most important part of our business. And that goes and cuts two ways. That when we look at our workers, our employees here, that when we view that they are the most important part of our business, and even for me as the president and CEO, how can I serve my employees in the best capacity, give them the tools, the training that they need to do the job we need them to do, that'll pay dividends. And when we look at our guests, we call them guests, when we look at them, across the counter, that we're there to serve them and to deliver a value, a comfortable, friendly environment, offering quality products, with a friendly smile. We believe that adds value, and that really goes to who we are as a brand.
Wonderful. And so do you do kind of customer service training for your employees, or is there a heritage way of doing
We do.
things?
We have what we call Magic Class, and we stole it from Disney.
Okay, yeah.
It's an acronym. It's making a great impression on our customers, even though we changed it to guest. And so every new employee will come through Magic Class that will learn our history, and then they will learn the guest service standards that we have, from waiting on a customer, taking deli orders, and all of the likes.
And how long have you been doing that? How long have you had Magic? I love the name, Magic Class. How long have you had that?
Man, as long as I've been around, it's probably been 25 years
Wow,
that we've had
really?
a formal Magic Class, so to speak.
But Harold, see, then this is what people, when I'm consulting to a lot of businesses, they don't understand how important that is. I'll guarantee that training has really helped to build your brand and grow your business. And it amazes me how many companies don't do that. And you can walk into a place and know immediately whether folks have been trained or not.
Yeah, we are struggling with it now. We have a ton of new employees, even though we're shorthanded. But when you can and do have the time and the people that can go through that training, and we can execute our standards, it pays immense dividends. And our customers around here in South Jersey, they just recognize, hey, your employees are really friendly. They engage us. I don't want to say cheers, so to speak, but it really is. You can go to any one given store, and Farmer Joe, Mary that comes in for a tuna sandwich, and that's the atmosphere that we've cultivated in many of our stores in the communities, where our employees know that the customers, and our customers know and appreciate our employees.
Who was it? Cliff, the postal worker? Who was and again, and we lose that. And again, this is one of the things I really think that people get too hung up on, this conservative, liberal, and Democrat, Republican, and this whole conflict, which I hate the conflict, because we're one country, we're a great country, but it's really kind of big versus small is the real delineation. And then what's happening is we're going to have one bank and one insurance company and one auto dealer and one, and so we've got to get back to supporting the local family business, which is why I do this show, which is why everywhere I go I say, support your local family business. And so, as you've seen it over the years, it's really, people don't seem to understand how important that local business is to their welfare.
I couldn't agree more, Dr. Caldwell. I think we're fortunate that the residents here in Southern New Jersey, identified, the value that we offer, who we are as a company. And I don't want to say it's a cultish following, but we have a very loyal customer base that has enabled us to stay in business through, the economic downturn in the mid 2000s, 2007, 2008 we almost went out of business then. And then, through this pandemic has been very difficult, and they found us, and I hope that they feel the same way. I appreciate them, and I feel like we served our community in a big way in an uncertain time. So they could have shopped anywhere, really, but they chose to shop Heritage's.
Well, and I think people often forget, as much as people are supporters of the Phillies or the Yankees or the Red Sox, or they want to support a local business, the business they'll go, and they'll pay a little more to go to their business because it feels like they own it. It feels like it's very personal. And we're losing a lot of that because of just the coldness of a lot of these big businesses. So I'm loving what I'm hearing about that. So talk to me about, I want to hear about the 2008 challenges and the pandemic challenges. What were some of the challenges? Was it just that people didn't have money, they didn't shop, or what happened in 2008?
Yeah, overall it was our gross margins were low, and the business, we weren't doing well in revenue, and we actually had to lay off people in late 2007 going into 2008 with it was like the housing crisis, the market, and all of those things. So it was they were a tough few years, and we really didn't rebound from that until I'd say 2013, 2014.
Wow.
So that was, just in talking to my dad, I was out working in the stores, but that was a very stressful time to lead a family business.
And finally, in the pandemic, we're almost out of time, but the pandemic, how were you able to survive? What, the challenges, did people not spend as much, did you find, or what?
So it was really interesting, and we've always viewed ourselves as your community store, right? I had expressed that we had, we sell groceries and the likes, and by April, our customer counts had dropped almost by 30%.
Wow.
But what we recognized was, and our business changed in how and when people shop. So people weren't commuting to work, people weren't coming home from work, people weren't going to sporting events and kids' little leagues and things like that. So, some sales dropped off, but in hindsight, they shopped us, for our deli, for our grocery items, and the people that did shop our stores spent more money and bought a wide variety of products that we had continued to offer.
Right. Well, Harold, unfortunately, as I said, this goes very, very quickly. Congratulations on this amazing business. I'm looking forward to, I haven't had a chance to go because I'm in Central Jersey, but I'm looking forward to getting to one of your stores and being a regular customer. So thank you so very, very much. I'd like to thank the audience for Family Business World. We will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.